30th of November 2017, Dovetail Games released the Class 150 for Train Simulator. Priced at £7.99, the train comes packaged in two liveries, First Great Western and Silverlink, the latter being rebranded for London Overground. This pack also comes with 3 scenarios for the South Wales Bristol to Swansea route. The Class 150 were built by British Rail Engineering Limited in York between 1984 and 1987. A total of 137 units were produced in 3 main subclasses, replacing elderly first-generation DMUs. This model represents the first production variant, which is now more widely known as the 150-1. Today, the 151s can be seen operating within the northern, western and Midland regions of the UK. The trains are powered by a Cummins NT855R5 engine, with an output of 236 horsepower and a maximum speed of 75 miles an hour. Starting with the outside, and initial impressions are good. The exterior model of the train is full of detail and the textures appear to be fairly clean. I do like the added weathering, as this gives you the impression that the train has racked up the miles. When viewed from the external camera, the interior of the carriages and the cab show a nice level of detail, such as the addition of a wheelchair ramp and animated instrument lighting. That said, my only nitpick with the detailing is that inside the toilet cubicle on the external model, it was a bit disturbing to see this chap sit on an invisible seat, along with what appear to be shadow textures where the passenger seats would normally go, along with the grab handles being suspended in mid-air. This comes as a result of mirroring assets. If Dovetail could model a wheelchair ramp, surely they could model a basic toilet. Incidentally, the train does have a dedicated passenger view, which has been modelled quite nicely. However, there is only one viewing angle where the camera has limited movement. Moving on to the dedicated cab view, and once again there is good attention to detail. The textures used are good, and the added touches such as the dirt on the windscreen and the chip paintwork demonstrate the added character. The instruments look bang on, and I like the level of light casted, both from the instruments and the cab lights. In terms of functionality, the 150 has working wipers and independently controlled headlights. The train also simulates the automatic warning system, driver reminder appliance and driver safety device. You also have the ability to open the cab window and change the train's destination display by pressing a combination of Control, Shift, 5 or 6. Overall then, the model quality is very good and shows attention to detail. Now it's time to see how the train handles in the driving department. First and foremost is that when this model was initially released, the train's handling characteristics resembled that of a high-speed supercar. Dovetail updated the physics in August 2017, and this review will only be featuring the physics that were put into this update. Once you turn the engine on and start to pull away, those of you that know the Sprinter inside and out will notice that the engine certainly doesn't sound like the real thing. The running sounds for this unit were sourced from the Class 166 in Rail Simulator, which were then reused on the Class 158 and 159 DLC that followed. The engine sounds are a lot less noisier than in earlier iterations, however, and there is a drop in revs once the train changes gear above 40 miles an hour. As standard, The 150 comes with a working horn, however only the low note is available on the spacebar. There is no high note available, despite the manual saying that there is one assigned to the B key. Other nitpicks I have is that the AWS alarm clips rather badly, and the sound of the DSD is very low in quality. Also, what type of sound did they use for the foot pedal? It sounds like the tick of a Spirax valve or something to that effect. There also appears to be some sounds missing when you operate certain switches in the cab. Overall then, the sounds of the unit are not a good representation of how the Class 150 sounds in real life. Rather than try and take a bit more development time to organise a recording session with the actual unit, Dovetail take the easy route and simply recycle sounds taken from past items of stock. In terms of actual handling, the Class 150 takes a decent amount of time to get up to speed, which is better than its day one release state, where the train had a 0 to 60 time of approximately 30 seconds. The brakes are very responsive, for I found that whilst driving this scenario between Cardiff and Bristol, the unit seems to slip on the track far too easily after applying a second step of braking. Overall then, the 151 is not atrocious, nor is it fantastic to drive, though there certainly is some room for improvement. The train could have been better, and as always is the case with Dovetail, the problem generally lies with the running sounds. I never had any sense of movement with this model, and it does feel rather monotonous to drive at times. If you are dissatisfied with the sounds and handling characteristics, and you want to get the most out of this unit, I would strongly recommend purchasing this enhancement pack from Armstrong Powerhouse. Priced at $9.99, this pack greatly enhances the 150-1, bringing with it a wide range of changes and additions. The first major change you'll notice is the improved textures on the model and the abundance of liveries that are included. The liveries that this pack includes are as follows: Provincial, Regional Railways, Central, Network West Midlands, London Midland, First North Western, First Great Western, Northern Rail, Northern, Silverlink Metro, and London Overground. The train startup procedure has been changed, whereby you now must turn the master key before putting the train into gear and moving on your way. Lighting remains independent, though the keys that the lights are assigned to are slightly different than the default setup. If you press the letter O on the keyboard, you will also get additional lighting in the passenger saloon. Each major livery comes with its own specific set of destination blinds, which are now operated with the F7 and F8 keys. The next radical change is the way the train sounds. Armstrong Powerhouse have actually gone out of their way to get permission from the train operating company and record sounds from the real thing. The cab, passenger saloon and the external view all have their own set of running sounds, and with the sound of the wind rushing past at high speed you get a greater sense of movement. Armstrong Powerhouse have done a good job of translating the sounds to the simulator, and this sound set is certainly a much better representation of how a 150 sounds in real life. It's not just the sounds that have been improved, but the train's physics have also been refined. Through additional scripting, AP have been able to alter the way the train behaves by modifying the transmission, adding dynamic exhaust effects, wheel slip protection and wheel slide. Overall, the combination of improved sounds and handling characteristics make the Class 150 a more immersive experience and a pleasure to drive. So, do I recommend the 150-1 for Train Simulator? As with any item of rolling stock in Train Simulator, it depends on how often you are going to use it. At the time of writing, you can use a 150-1 on the following commercially available routes: Manchester to Liverpool via Warrington, North London and Goblin, West Coast Main Line over Shap, and the Riviera Line. Alternatively, you could also use Just Train's Western Main Line and South Western Expressway. DP Simulations Exeter to Barnstable is also a route where the 150-1 will feel at home. By default, the train does have some good amount of detail modelling wise, but as mentioned earlier, it does feel rather boring to drive at times, and even after Dovetail updated the physics, the train still feels a bit off. With that in mind, if you are going to be driving the train on a regular basis, I would strongly recommend purchasing the Enhancement Pack from Armstrong Powerhouse, as this will not only make the train better to drive, but it also adds more scenario potential with the extra liveries it brings. So there's my thoughts on the 150-1. I hope that this review has been helpful and informative. If you like what you saw and would like to keep up to date with the videos that I post, feel free to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter for further updates. As always, thanks for watching and take care.